I think we are about to see the boom in desktop CNCs similar to what we've seen 3D printing do over the last 10 years. Today, what I'm going to be covering is the Makera Z1. And the question I'm going to try and be answering today is this the best machine that I would suggest to a beginner looking to get into CNC? What's going on, everyone? Today I'm here with the Makera Z1, a compact, affordable desktop CNC. Now, a little bit of my background. I've got a manufacturing background where I'm very familiar with industrial type CNCs, but today we're not thinking or looking at industrial CNCs or comparing a nice little compact desktop unit like this to one of those. What we're going to be looking at today is this the right machine for a beginner getting into desktop CNC. Now, the Makera Z1 is available for $1,099, and that is the machine itself here. Now, there's also additional bundles that you can get that include other accessories like the Cyclone dust collector light that I have here next to it, as well as this Makera low profile vise. Now, the parts that I have were included in the Ultimate combo, which also has like the 4th axis, the 5-watt laser attachment, and a number of other pieces. But what package exactly you select is going to kind of come from what you think that you may want to do with it. During this review, I'll point out some of those additional accessories, and maybe at that time you can see if it's something that you think that you should add to your bundle. There's a ton of different desktop CNCs available on the market, but the difference between them is the learning curve, how easy it is to jump into a machine and start using it, because the machine itself is fairly basic in some ways, but it's trying to make it do what you want to do that can be the most difficult. Makera bundles their machines with their own software called Makera Studio, and it is both a CAM software and a controller for the machine itself. CAM software is what you'll actually go in and start to define what you want the machine to do as far as like generating tool paths. And that's one of the biggest differences between CNC and 3D printing. You need to go in and actually decide what tools you're going to use and what you're going to cut. The Makera Studio software is much improved now compared to what it was when I first started using the Makera machines. The interface with the machine is now done over Wi-Fi in a way that you don't have to switch networks from your regular Wi-Fi to the Wi-Fi of the machine. So it can just connect through your network and you don't have to do that back and forth. It's also got a camera enabled inside so you can see the area that the machine is working on. Makera is also launching Makerables, which is like the Maker World equivalent. So you can go there and find projects in case you just want to like start learning to use the machine rather than fully programming it. You can go on there, find designs from other makers, and then make them yourself on your desktop machine. As I mentioned, Makera Studio is also a CAM software. I myself am not using that part because my workflow is already designing in Autodesk Fusion and then writing toolpaths in Fusion, because that's what I've been doing for the different desktop CNCs that I've had for quite some time at this point. Makera has a post processor for Fusion, so it's just a simple load it in there and I didn't have to tweak anything on my own. It just works. The benefit of Makera Studio, which they include, is that it's free, or included at least with the purchase of your machine, where Fusion, I pay a yearly fee for that for some of the CNC functions specifically. Makera Studio, probably the best place to start if you're a newbie to desktop CNC. Now, once you get a desktop CNC, getting it set up in your workspace can be another hurdle of its own. All of the systems that I had before the Makeras were open. So you had to get it set up in an area where you were going to try and keep the chips contained, where the Makera's got this much nicer complete build where you can close it and everything stays enclosed in there. It's also set up for chip evacuation, specifically with a vacuum. Now, whether or not you want to use the vacuum that they offer or you want to hook up your own shop vac in the back, it's super easy to do, and it just helps keep everything clean. Other features that help reduce the friction with the Z1 are things like the tool changer. It's got a lever here on the side of the spindle. You just pull that down and the tool will come out quickly. You put the new one in and put that lever up, and that's it. Tool changes are just They take a few seconds is all. The other huge benefit is that it's got a built-in tool setter on the table here. It's just this little podium, sits there in the corner. Once you change a tool, it's gonna go down and touch off. And that's so it knows exactly the length of the bit, because that's super important. Machines that I've had in the past, I had to manually dial that in by lowering my spindle and checking it with something like a piece of paper when it started to add friction. This, so much easier in general, and it just makes running through a program just very painless. I mentioned earlier, but Makera has integrated a camera into the build volume here. We've seen cameras in like our 3D printers, and they can be very helpful for that. I haven't necessarily found the same amount of usefulness for the camera inside of this, but for me, these don't run for 24 hours like a 3D printer. So I'm usually in the workshop while it's running. One thing I really appreciate about the Z1 is that it's not just the CNC. It's kind of its whole ecosystem of everything you may need to really get into desktop CNC. Now, one of my favorite accessories that Makera has come out with is this low profile vise. I was using a similar vise on my previous Makeras, but Makera made their own. It's perfectly fit to their table. It mounts up exactly where you would want it. It clears everything through the travel of the machine, which my other one didn't, and it just functions excellent. So I would highly recommend the low profile vise, whether you get one of the bundles that includes it or you just get it separately. Highly recommend that new accessory. Now, Makera does include tooling with their machines, and it's standard 1/8" shank tooling, which the tools that they include are super capable. The quality has been good. I haven't really had breakage with their tools, and it gives you a nice selection of tools for wood, plastic, aluminum, brass. You can cut just about any of the materials that they advertise with the tooling that is included. And being that it's a standard 1/8" shank, finding tools on Amazon, super easy, available same day, next day. I mentioned the materials that I've been cutting. They do include sample materials with this, and of course you can find other sample material boxes from them. Comes, you know, aluminums and brasses, epoxy tooling board, which is like a free cutting type material. Tons of options for you to like just mount something in there and either run some of the sample programs that they include or go to their Makerables. Just gives you an easy starting point to build some confidence before maybe you start ordering materials from your favorite supplier. Now, I've mentioned a couple of times already the Cyclone Dust Collector Light. This is a premium accessory, I would say. It's not cheap, 350 bucks for this version, which is an expensive vacuum. Now, you can adapt a shop vac to the back of this on your own, and of course that'll probably give you pretty similar results. But the benefits of this are not just the similar style of it. It is actually made to tie into the machine, and the machine automatically turns it on and off for you, which is a nice bit of bonus. You can also control the power of it from the machine and the programming, and it has one more benefit, which is the exhaust port from the vacuum. Vacuums all blow air out, but this one harnesses that, and you can duct it into the back side of the machine towards the top. And what that does is that gives you an air blast that helps manage chips as well. So is it expensive? Yes. Is it a nice user experience? Absolutely. Is it worth the luxury? That's going to be up to you and your budget. In this bundle, there was also an ionizer attachment, which is something that I hadn't seen done before. And what that is basically a small module here that helps reduce static electricity when cutting things like epoxies or plastics, just because those chips can easily want to like stick onto like the plastic hood on the inside or all over the inside of the machine itself. So just a nice little quality of life improvement that was cool to see in there, and something I actually had never seen included on a desktop CNC before. Now, one of the accessories that I'm most excited about, I actually haven't got to use yet, and that is this 3D wired probe. Right out of the box, the machine already has a probe installed here on the side, and it's super useful for tracing the boundary of where you're actually going to be cutting, just as a sanity check for yourself. And then it'll also set the top height of your material stock itself. Another huge benefit. But a 3D wired probe goes a step further. It will allow you to find the edges of your material and the top so that you can actually automatically calculate the center of an area or an item. This is something that users on the Makera forums and groups have been utilizing from other third parties, but Makera has come out with their own version, which is so nice to see that it's just built right in and not something that you have to do your own firmware updates on or trying to make work in the software. It's just native to it. Another new accessory from Makera is this vacuum table. And this is something I hadn't seen from them before, but this, you'll hook up a vacuum source to each side and that vacuum will draw pressure through this MDF top. And that allows you to put a piece of material on here and it will just hold it down with suction. That's something that's commonly done in a number of other different types of the CNC world. So seeing that provided by Makera is a cool benefit. Now, this is not included with the Ultimate bundle. This is available separately. So if that's something that interests you, no matter what bundle you have, you can pick this up on its own. Now, I'm not specifically covering this yet. I just haven't had a project that this fit my workflow better than my vise, but in the future, that's definitely something that I think looks promising and that I will tackle. One other item that was included is the 4th axis here. Now, it's called a 4th axis because currently the machine is a 3-axis machine, meaning it moves left and right, front to back, and up and down. That's the 3 axes, X, Y, and Z. The 4th axis adds a rotation ability, which is called the A axis. Now, 4th axis work is a bit more advanced than just standard 3-axis work. So for beginners in general, unless you find something that this really fits your ideal workflow into, like you know that that's the type of parts that you're going to be doing, it's going to be something that maybe you'll want to dive into or learn a little bit later. For me, it's something that definitely is useful in certain situations, but from what I've been doing on the machine over the last couple of weeks already, it just wasn't a tool that I was diving into yet. This bundle also included a 5-watt laser, which I'm also not covering. Now, I don't think that this is something that greatly adds to the value of the machine, but I also already have other lasers. So if a 5-watt laser, which is a low power, is something that is going to be beneficial to you, then it's worth noting that it is there. Now, we've spent a bunch of time talking about the machine and the things that it includes with, but how is actually making parts with it? Now, I have a bunch of run hours on this machine already, and one of the projects that I tackled during that was building out a custom radio, which I ended up using wood, aluminum, brass, and epoxy resin scale material. Cutting pieces like these epoxy resin scale materials that I used for the grips on this radio is super easy on this. The spindle has enough power to fly through it, give you some really nice finishes. It's just, this is like a perfect type of material for this machine. Using that ionizer, I didn't find a bunch of static keeping my chips stuck to all of the different surfaces. I also had a very similar experience with cutting wood blanks. I did some wood for this upper handle portion with the grips, and cutting wood on this was fantastic. It just flew through it, left a beautiful finish, nice, quiet. I really enjoyed that. I actually don't work with wood very much or hardly at all. So getting in there and doing some woodworking, I actually had a really great time, and it made me want to maybe do some more wood projects down the road. Now, getting into metal like brass. Brass is one of the easier metals to machine. It just does a really good job. Chips break nicely. You can do a pretty decent cut, and it leaves some really cool looking parts in general. Now, with this machine, you're not going to be able to go with as deep of a cut as you would with wood or the epoxy board, but you can still take some pretty decent cuts, go through there, and it'll still leave you a nice finish. Then getting into aluminum. Now, aluminum still a very reasonable to machine material, and this machine handles it pretty well. But again, you are going to have to make sure that you're reasonable with how deep you're trying to cut. That's going to be the biggest thing. The spindle on this is not crazy powerful. It's about 250 watts, which isn't crazy powerful, but it's pretty well fit for this machine, and it's going to be something that contributes to the fairly low barrier of entry with the cost of this machine. Aluminum is probably the most common material that I cut on these machines, and this machine does a good job at it. I just go about 1/2 millimeter deep at a time. So it can take a while to get some large parts cut out, but it's fully capable of it, and I can make my own aluminum parts here at home. So for me, I'll take it. Now, let's say that the Z1 is a machine that you could see on your bench top today. it does have its limits, and in the future, there are going to be things that you may want more of. I mentioned the spindle power. That is probably its biggest limiting factor as far as how quickly you can make a part, because you can only go so deep. You're also not going to be able to cut things like steel and stainless steel on this machine reasonably. Could you maybe get it done? Probably. Would I suggest it? Probably not for most people. Also, the build volume. This doesn't have a huge build volume, so your parts are kind of limited to, the size of the machine, which is reasonable. Now, there's things you can do as far as extension of parts that go all the way through this machine. You can remove the back panel, have the lid up and run a part that could fit between there, but that still has limitations with width and things like that. And of course, that 5-watt laser that it includes, that's my lowest priority thing that this machine includes. Now, if you pick up the Z1, I don't think you're buying the final generation of desktop CNC. I think what we're actually buying is the beginning of this exponential boom in desktop CNC, very similar to what we saw with 3D printing. 10 years from now, machines are going to be better, faster, smarter. That's inevitable. It's going to happen. But by getting into desktop CNC today, the people that are going to benefit the most are the ones that started learning today. You're learning things like CAD and CAM and work holding and machining strategy, things that you're not going to learn on day one. You're going to need that experience. You're going to learn more and more as you go every day. Those are skills that take a while. So if you get in today, you're going to be able to start making parts, and really you can find that this is as or more addictive than 3D printing. But you're going to be able to take those skills that you learned today, and you're going to be able to make the most out of these machines that come out in the future that are going to be better, faster, smarter. Those are all things that you're going to be able to take and transfer on and build from, because every day, every project you use on a machine like this is just going to make you a better and better home machinist. To go back to the beginning with the question that I asked at first, is this the best CNC that I would recommend to a beginner? I think that this is the machine that I would recommend to somebody who is looking to get into their very first CNC. They don't know what to expect. They've never done this before, and they're gonna need basically everything to get going. As I mentioned, I've had desktop CNCs for nearly 20 years at this point, and I don't think that the Makera Z1 is the most powerful machine you can buy. That's factually just not the case, but it's important because of what it represents of this easy starting point, this place that fits on your workbench, encloses everything, has the answers for all of those very first questions you're going to have. What tools do I start with? How do I hold my material down? What materials can I use, or where do I get them? Just every question that you would have as a new person getting into, they try their best to answer a solution for. Over the next decade, we're going to see incredible desktop CNCs, but I don't think that that would be a reason to wait. I think it's more of a reason to start learning it today so that you can fully harness these machines as we go into the future. Because just like the 3D printers that I've had over the years, they eventually get replaced, but the skills that you built while having them did not. There's never been a better time to be a maker in general, and if you've never considered, or you're just starting to consider desktop CNC, I think that the Z1 has a lot to offer, and it's definitely worth seeing if it fits what you're after. You just have to ask yourself if the projects that you have in mind fit within the capabilities of this machine for size and power, and if they do, then this is a machine that I think is definitely worth considering. But that covers my first look at the Z1. If you're interested in it, there's information down in the description below. Also, there's information down there on channel membership in case you want to help support the channel a little bit extra. You also get to see videos like this early, other videos that are only for members, some behind the scenes stuff, things like that. If you're interested, again, information down in the description as well. But that is going to do it for this video. Thank you everybody for watching. Hit the like button if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're not already. Helps the channel a whole bunch. But that is going to do it. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you on the next one.